So Doctor Who Flux is just getting started and it's already opening up a lot of questions. Here's my 5 theories and predictions for where all this is going. Prediction number 1. Yaz will fly off with Vinda at the end. I feel like Yaz has reached that kind of critical stage of a companion, the kind of Clara Oswald stage, where she loves the process too much to just leave the Doctor. So she's either going to get killed off or she's going to fly off with someone else. So in the same way that Clara Oswald flies off with that person from Game of Thrones, in the same way I think Yaz will probably go off with Vinda, and that is the purpose of his character. I can't really see Chibnall killing her off. I think that would be too sad to him. He's very caught up on his whole kind of fam idea. And Ryan and Graham, they got out of the show very easily as well. So I think it's likely that he won't kill her, and Vinda seems to be the obvious setup for someone she can go away with. Prediction number 2. Dan Lewis is an actual genuine person. So I've seen a lot of people speculating that Dan is like a secret master or a secret doctor, and the main reason I think that's not going to happen is because they literally had both of those reveals in the last series. We had a secret doctor and a secret master. So if Chibnall did that again, it would be very, very repetitive. So I can't see it happening. And even the idea that maybe he's just kind of evil and he's working with Swarm, even that feels a bit too obvious. I think he might just be a genuine person. I think he's kind of like a Donna Noble type, where he's an ordinary human being and he's going to save the day, just like he did in the Sontaran episode. So I don't see it. However, there is some evidence for it that he could be a secret doctor. And the thing I've picked up on is the fact that his job, or not technically his real job, but he wants to be a tour guide. And when Ruth, the Fugitive Doctor, was hiding out on Earth as a human being, she worked as a tour guide. So it is kind of interesting that he has the same job as a secret doctor. But I can't see it. I can't see it. And also, John Bishop is weird casting for a doctor or master or evil villain. I think he is just a kind of genuine, nice comic relief type character. Right, prediction number 3. This is a very random theory that doesn't really have a lot of evidence for it, but it's that Swarm and Azure are reject Time Lords. So this is basically just a cool theory I had, and I'm just completely speculating. Because I was thinking, what happens when a regeneration goes wrong? We've heard the Doctor be surprised at the fact that when he's regenerated, he still has legs. The 11th Doctor exclaimed that. So this raises the possibility that regeneration can go wrong, but it can be more varied than what we've seen already. In recent years we've started to see that you can change gender, you can change skin tone. However, the Doctor's exclamation that he was shocked that he still has legs, that opens up the possibility that there's even more variation that could happen during regeneration. However, the Time Lords we've seen in the show have never had any variations like that. They've always been kind of regular looking human beings. If there is a chance for regeneration can throw up different results, why have we never seen it? And maybe it's because the Time Lords, in all their kind of pomposity, maybe they discard the rejects. Maybe the people that go through regeneration and it goes wrong, they're shunned. They're not considered proper, pure Time Lords, and they're thrown away somewhere or they're killed. And maybe Swarm and Azure could be these reject Time Lords. Time Lords that have gone through a regeneration that's gone wrong, and they've got metal in their body and they've got a different skin colour and they look all weird and alien. And the Time Lords, being kind of basically racist, have cast them aside. And it could also be the reason why Swarm and Azure hate the Doctor, because they hate the fact she's a Time Lord and the Time Lords discarded them, but also the regeneration that turned them into a monster, that ability came from the Doctor, if you believe the Timeless Child stuff. And it's also hinted that the Time Lords have locked Swarm up. So maybe this is the reason they did that, because they see Swarm as an impure form of Time Lord and they want to get rid of him. Which brings me to prediction 4, which is the Division are behind everything. So it's hinted that the Division are the people that locked Swarm up, and the Division are a secret organisation founded by the Time Lords to intervene in universal events. It's implied that the Timeless Child, who might be the Doctor, worked for the Division in the past. However, I don't understand, why have they wiped this from their own matrix, and why have they wiped this from the Timeless Child's mind? Because in the flashbacks, the Timeless Child seems to willingly join the Division. They don't seem to be getting forced by gunpoint to join the organisation. They want to. In which case, why would they then need to wipe the memories if they were willing to do all of this? And why have they tried to scrub it out of existence from their own planet's matrix? My theory is that the Division did something very, very bad that they've tried to cover up. And I think that thing could be creating the Flux. So the Flux in this series has been shown as this kind of universal hurricane that just destroys everything in its path. So why would the Division, which are a group of Time Lords, why would they create the Flux? Why would they create something horrible like that? Well, I would say they probably created it as a weapon for war. And we've seen Time Lords do this in the past with the Moment. You know, that was a completely destructive weapon that could blow up an entire planet. So I think the Time Lords and the Division were at war with someone in the past, and they created the Flux as a weapon to destroy them. However, it probably got out of hand. They lost control of it, maybe even gained sentience like the Moment did. And my other little theory that joins this is that maybe the people that the Time Lords and the Division were at war against were Swarm and Azure's species. The Flux was created by the Time Lords as a weapon to wipe them out, and Swarm and Azure are now the last two surviving members of their race. And the twist of the series could be that Swarm and Azure aren't behind the Flux, they're actually trying to stop it, or take control of it for themselves. And I think all this will build to the Division being revealed near the end of the series, and they'll be the kind of like big villain in a way, they'll be the big villain at the end. And I think the final couple of episodes could come down to a showdown between the Division and Swarm and Azure, and the Doctor will be kind of caught up in the middle of it. Okay, so prediction 5, I'm going to take this one step further and say maybe the Fugitive Doctor created the Flux. So in Series 12 we got introduced to the idea of the Fugitive Doctor, a Doctor that we're not quite sure where in the timeline she goes. Now what's interesting is we know the Fugitive Doctor works for the Division, but something happens during the time that the Fugitive Doctor is working for them that is so bad that she has to flee them completely and disguise herself as a human being just to not be found. Now what if that breaking point was creating the Flux for them? The Doctor as a genius is more than capable of doing it, and from what we've seen of the Doctor's character it would make sense for they would be ashamed of creating something like that. She knew she had created an awful weapon that no one could control, and out of shame she ran away. This would create a really nice opportunity to bring back the Fugitive Doctor, because the Doctor would need the help of Jo Martin to stop the Flux, because Jo Martin created the Flux, so she would know how to stop it. So those are my very, very wild theories for where this might be heading. I might be completely wrong, but it'll be interesting to see how close those predictions are. They might be they might be not close at all. But in general, I've really enjoyed Doctor Who Flux so far. I thought the first episode was pretty decent, kind of good start, but a little bit convoluted maybe. But that second episode, that Sontaran episode, I thought was absolutely brilliant. Really, really enjoyed it. It was one of my favourite episodes for like the past few years. Probably my favourite episode that Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall have done. So yeah, it's really exciting. Let's see where the rest of the series goes. But yeah, if you've got any theories or speculation, feel free to post in the comments below, because it'll be really interesting to hear what other people think about this. And yeah, I can't wait to be proven absolutely wrong on everything.